Well, howdy doody do, everybody. This is the Dennis and Andy Show, popping in with another movie review for you guys. Hot off seeing the movie. I was going to say press, but that doesn't make sense.
Right, not hot off the press, hot off the silver screen.
That's right. Last night, we went and saw, well, I guess that doesn't really help you because this is a pre-record. Well, anyhow, we went and saw M3GAN.
Or
from
M3GAN, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
That's true. From Blumhouse Studios. This movie is rated PG-13, which I will say at first, a little disappointing to hear that. Don't expect PG-13 from Blumhouse.
I don't either, and I was like, oh boy. Well, guess we're not getting a Chucky movie after all.
That's what you thought? My first thought was, no boobs in this movie.
Of course that's what you think. But no, my first thought was this is a horror movie about a killer doll / robot, whatever it was. And we were like, oh my God, there's not going to be a whole lot of killing. But we were wrong.
We were
wrong.
We're going to do a non-spoiler review. We don't want to spoil anything. We want you guys to go see the movie and let us know what you thought. So no spoilers will be given.
And we will give you our grade at the very end. But if you've seen the trailer, if not, I would recommend pausing us right now, going out and watching the trailer. The trailer does a nice job of showing you some important pieces, but not really giving you the whole story. The end, it's really about the robotic engineer. She winds up building a lifelike doll, and she makes it self-aware, which you can see in the trailer. And something traumatic happens, and this movie winds up having some heart because it's all about this child who has to cope with the loss.
Yeah, so Allison Williams plays Gemma. She's the engineer. She works for this toy company called Funky. Slap that I off, put an O on it. It would be Funko. Did you notice that, Dennis?
I did, and actually it almost looked like the Funko logo almost.
And the big toy that they make is this, it's not a bear, but for lack of a better word, we'll call it a bear. And it's, it's electronic. It's like a forever pet. You can feed it. It'll talk to you, blah, blah, blah.
It's like an advanced form of the old Furbies.
Yeah. Violet McGraw plays Cady. That's the little girl that Gemma brings M3GAN home to. And the reason she does, and I know this isn't in the trailer, but I don't think this is a huge big deal. She's living with Gemma because Gemma is her aunt, and Cady's mom and dad are unfortunately killed in an auto accident. So Cady goes to live with Allison Williams. She also, in that accident, lost that little Furby type pet Dennis was talking about that this toy company that Gemma works for is very known for and popular for. So that was obviously destroyed in the accident. So anyhow, Allison Williams works for this big toy company, one of the big engineers for the company, and her boss is played by Ronnie Chieng.
Yes. Ronnie Ching.
No,
and he's awesome.
You made it sound like there was an A in his name.
He plays a douchebag really well.
Really good. Yeah. Like
arrogant, your typical what you would consider the CEO of a company whose only thought is, he wants his name in the lights. He's got this thing and he wants to do it. I loved him as a character.
He was good. He was in Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. I knew I recognized him. He was in Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yep.
Crazy Rich Asians and other stuff, but those are the big highlights for him. Dennis nailed it. Guy plays a perfect douchebag. M3GAN herself. Here's what I'd like to see, actually. I'd like to see some behind the scenes of how the movie was made. Amie Donald plays M3GAN, so obviously it was a little kid walking around. You can even kind of tell when they show close-ups of her hands that those were like fleshy gloves,
Yes. But
And
it was realistic enough where we going in there, suspending our disbelief, are able to go, okay, that's how they're doing that. That's how they're doing this.
right.
Oh, I can see that. But all the effects were really well done in this for being a really low budget movie. This entire movie, even with the special effects, was a $12 million budget. I thought they did great with their limited budget.
Yeah. And then Jenna Davis actually was the voice. So different actress for the voice of M3GAN. So anyhow, Cady's at home with Gemma. She's all depressed and stuff. She doesn't have any friends, blah, blah, blah.
No
so
toys,
Allison,
no nothing.
No toys. Like Gemma has toys, but the girl can't play with them because they're collectibles. It's the same. Like she picks one off the shelf and Gemma's like, no, it's not a toy. Well, I mean, it is a toy, but it's a collectible not to be played with. Literally what I hear when I go to Dennis's house and pick up his stupid Star Trek Enterprises and start going, shwoo, shwoo, shwoo. He's like, those aren't toys. But they look like toys. Damn it.
That was really good. Yes. So they have to try and build a relationship between the aunt and Cady. So Gemma and Cady have to do it. Well, her thought is, well, obviously I've got this thing I'm working on, and boy, this could be a really good fit. And in theory, it was.
It really was. The M3GAN that she creates, this AI, it learns because it's connected to the internet. So as you're talking to it, if you ask it a question, it can, basically just get the answer super fast. And then as it sees the person do things, it learns. The actual doll pairs with its user. So the company is going to mass produce these things, and they're like $10,000 a pop. So, it pairs with the user. And the whole point is you never really have to buy. I mean, yeah, you'll still buy toys for your kid, but overall, you don't have to worry about your kid having friends and stuff. And it did have a little message to it because
I'm going to say it had a big message. And I think this is why this movie worked. We were both kind of going into it, I know, thinking, oh, hack slash. It's like Battlestar Galactica, Terminator, AI goes bad, blah, 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 Chucky the doll, evil things, and that was kind of what we were thinking probably going in. This movie succeeds because they wind up meeting with a counselor, and they have this entire underlying thing about attachment theory. So she's like, well, attachment. You're supposed to be building a bond, not basically some inanimate object. So They're like, this is how you develop things to fight loss. So the entire attachment theory creates this binding storyline under the undercurrent throughout the entire movie. And it works because that underlying story goes from the very beginning of the movie, and you see it develop all the way till what happens at the end. So this movie isn't just a hacker, slasher, thriller, horror movie. It's got a great message that runs through the entire movie.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, Gemma, Allison Williams' character, is the sister. And look, I don't know about you, but if anything were to happen to Helen and I, Courtney would probably go live with one of my in-laws, Helen's sisters or whatever. Now, Courtney's, 19, so it's not like a 9-year-old. But the point is that happens a lot in families. But when you agree to it, you never think it's going to happen. So Gemma really isn't cut out to be a parent.
No.
So she loves the fact in the beginning that M3GAN is basically doing everything with Cady around the house, even to the point of Cady comes out of the bathroom, M3GAN's like, flush the toilet. Cady's like, oh yeah, flush. Then she comes walking back and wash your hands. Oh yeah, roll up your sleeves. Got it, And Gemma's just kicking back, doing her own thing. And it's like, no, you have to be the parent. It's almost like those Hollywood couples that just get all the nannies and don't do any of their own parenting.
Yeah, it really was. Like I said, Allison Williams, I thought, was adorable. She's not only adorable on the screen, you feel for her in all the different situations. Yes, it's of your own making, but I loved her character. I loved her boss, the douche canoe. I loved Cady. I loved Megan. Celia, the neighbor. So they've got an ongoing feud kind of thing going on with the neighbor and the dog. She was great for, you know, what her role was. Yeah. I loved every character in this movie. I thought their casting was great. They got a couple of Gemma's got a couple of assistants that are helping her. I thought they did exactly what was needed to fulfill. Not too much, not too little, and you actually kind of feel for them in it. So again, casting wise, the dialogue I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, the one assistant. So it's a guy assistant and a female assistant. The female assistant's played by Jen Van Epps, and she's known for, I guess she voiced in Cowboy Bebop, Don't Make Me Go. I haven't seen that movie. Power Rangers Dino Fury from 2021, one episode. She looks really familiar. I'm just looking to see if there's other stuff.
I didn't recognize her from anything. I didn't recognize any of the assistants. And
yeah, nothing's coming up.
Two assistants, and then the guy who plays Kurt, he's basically David's assistant, who winds up not being the nicest guy in the world. I liked him too, but I didn't recognize any of them. So again, it's a small budget, so they did get a bunch of fairly, I would say, more unknowns, and it worked.
Now, this movie was originally supposed to be rated R, and and this is all stuff that can be found online. It's supposed to be rated R, but the producers noticed while editing that it was close enough to PG-13, so they just reshot some scenes to tone down the violence. And, there is that thing of old school movies, violence. They would lead up to it and then not show it. And because it leaves more up to your imagination. And that's kind of what they did in this. I mean, I think it worked, but for me, there were those moments where I'm like, oh, if this was R-rated, they definitely would have shown this or that, Yeah. I think that would have been cool.
There were a number of things throughout this movie. We're not going to give any of it away for spoilers, but for those of us that are cinephiles, they really gave some really good nods. I know you get to see one of them in the trailer. There's a direct play right off The Shining, but then again, how many good horror movies don't show something to deal with The Shining? So that was great. You'll pick up on that. E.T. was my favorite. I actually kind of chuckled right out loud in the theater once, because you see it in the trailer, but you actually, once you see its context, it's even funnier. So there's a direct one to E.T. Die Hard. Oh my God, the elevator scene in Die Hard, as soon as you hear it go bing and open, you see the scream, and I'm like, oh my God, Die Hard. So you're going to love that when you see it. Yeah. And then, of course, Chucky. They obviously have directed Chucky, so they did a really nice job of putting in some very fun references.
Well, apparently after the trailer was released, it blew up on TikTok, and that was another PG-13 thing, because they knew it would really appeal to teenagers, so it would have a better, wider audience being PG-13.
And it did, because our audience, there were a lot of kids in our theater last night.
Yep. It had a RoboCop kind of reference in it as well. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. And in fact, and I didn't even know about this until now, at the January 1st Rams-Chargers game in LA, apparently they had a bunch of actors dressed as M3GAN show up, and they even danced during halftime. So that would have been interesting to see. Yeah. What do you want to give it for a rating there, stud man?
I was very thoroughly enjoyed, more so than I thought I was going to be by far. I probably want to take my niece to go see this. I mean, I liked it that much. I'm going to give it an 8.0. I was teetering between an 8.0 and an 8.5. I'm going to give it an 8.0. I thought it was super solid. I highly recommend it. This one's worth spending a few bucks in the theater.
Yep, I agree. I actually was given an 8.0 as well.
You agree?
You know, it is not a Oscar film. Don't have the story isn't super complex. You know,
but it does all of its basic components.
Yeah, it does what it needs to do. Yeah, it does it well. So, you know, go check it out. Let us know what you think.
Let me just pull up. I want to see what everybody's saying, and that way we can. Metacritic's giving it a 6.7. The tomato meter from Rotten Tomatoes, 95% from the critics, 79% from the audience.
Look at that. We are right on track again.
Yeah, with the audience. And I told you it had a $12 million budget. It's already $36 million domestic, 15 international. So they're already at $52 million. Double the budget for advertising of, say, $24 million. This is well in the green. This is probably a surprise hit for a crappy January showing, which is typically where they put their really bad movies. This one flew in the face of everything. So kudos, Blumhouse. You guys did great. Good movie. I hope you guys definitely get a chance to see it. Leave your comments below. Let us know your thoughts, grades, and what you all thought.
That's right. And before we go, we would be remiss, I tell you, remiss, if we did not mention, of course, Cordrath, the campaign that is currently going on by Dennis and I. Barbarian action for a new age. We are at 1,201 backers now. Thank you so much. Creeping up on $75,000. We're at $74,661. Thank you all so much for supporting us. I just wrapped up a 2-page spread, 26 and 27. And check it out. If you like Conan, if you like Game of Thrones, you'll like this book. Cordrath is thrown into hell as he comes back with Adriana from this quest that he was sent on and finds his tribe totally slaughtered, obliterated. Cordrath needs to find out why this happened, who's behind it. Him and Adriana have to track him down. She's a sorceress. He's a badass barbarian. What more could you want? Go check it out. There's a bunch of different covers to choose from. You can click here where it says read pages 1 through 8. Click there. It'll take you to. Let's just do it and see. Look at that. Even opens a new window. And you can read the first 8 pages of Cordrath. The art's bigger than what is shown on the Indiegogo page. So go check that out so you can read a little bit about the book. Read those first 8 pages. There's other fun stuff on here as well. Character stuff. Cordrath, the RPG game. Dennis can touch on that in a second. We've got the Shattered Reach map, which everybody's going to get. So go check out the website. Check out the campaign. Like I said, 5 different covers. It's a la carte. You can either get everything in one tier or pick your favorite cover, and on checkout, pick another cover. Because we want to make it as simple as possible for you guys. And there's an oversized artist edition that's going to be 88 pages featuring all my artwork in black and white, but scanned in color so you can see white out and pencil smudges, and it's like holding the originals in your hand. There's the cover for that bad boy. And the game module, the parody ad, 2 t-shirts to choose from, and a beanie. You can see the stretch goals and stuff. All right, Dennis, give them a quick update. Let's see if you can do this, because your definition of quick and mine are 2 different things.
Yeah,
quick update on the gaming stuff.
On the rules. Originally, it was going to be SRD 5 compatible. We are literally waiting for everything to drop with what's going on with Hasbro Wizards of the Coast. The story will not change in the module, so that you don't have to worry about. The only difference is it going to be SRD compatible, or is it going to now be, because Paizo's coming out with their ORC, and they're making it friendly for all fans, and people are leaving Dungeons and Dragons in droves. So we will probably wind up doing an entire show on that. So I am going through everything. I've actually got second edition stuff, so I'm going to go through the new versions. But all in all, the module will be able to be used with whatever system, because the story will be consistent through everything, and you guys will love how it interacts directly with the comics.
There you go. So you got nothing to worry about. So you can read the book and play the game. Thank you again for joining us. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, if you will, so you know when we drop these review videos. And leave some comments. Let us know if you saw the movie, what you thought of it. We'll catch you guys next Wednesday at, 5 o'clock will work. So next Wednesday at 5 o'clock, we'll catch you guys then. Until then, everybody have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!